4 long years of civil war. Finally, in 1865, it was over. But the United States paid a terrible price for reunion. All told, more than 620,000 men, including its president, died, a number equal to all those lost in the American Revolution, the War of 1812, the Mexican War, the Spanish-American War, both World Wars, and the Korean War combined. And for the first time ever, Americans had seen the bodies of their dead soldiers, most of them in the prime of their life, as grotesque and bloated corpses on 1,000 fields of battle. The supreme hero of the war is Abraham Lincoln, who against almost overwhelming opposition led the country through this long and bitter war, thus preserving the American experiment in popular government and allowing future generations to make progress towards the realization of American ideals. The words pieced together from speeches and letters are Lincoln's. The struggle for today is not altogether for today. It is for a vast future also. It embraces more than the fate of these United States. It presents to the whole family of man the question whether a constitutional republic or democracy, a government of the people, by the same people, can or cannot maintain its integrity against its own domestic foes. We must settle this question now. If we fail, it will go far to prove the incapability of the people to govern themselves. This is essentially a people's contest. On the side of the Union, it is a struggle for maintaining in the world that form and substance of government whose leading object is to elevate the condition of men, to lift artificial weights from all shoulders, to clear the paths of laudable pursuit for all, to afford all an unfettered start and a fair chance in the race of life. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. We here must highly resolve that these honored dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. As the special funeral train passed through the black-draped towns and villages where it did not stop, it slowed its speed to less than 5 miles an hour. Even during spring showers and in the middle of the night, heavy-hearted citizens stood waiting on station platforms and for miles along the tracks to watch it pass. An outpouring of public sentiment, the military commander of the train thought truly sublime. Fascination of a different kind attracts visitors to the Lincoln Memorial. For here, more than at any other monument, shrine, or museum, one feels the presence of Lincoln and senses the magnitude of his significance to the American experience. It is curious that this classical Greek temple, with its 36 Doric columns, one for each state in the Union at the end of the war, and the beauty of its near-perfect proportions should so movingly embody the spirit of an unschooled, unpolished, self-made product of the farming frontier. But that is what it does, nevertheless. On the south wall of the open memorial chamber, inscribed in stone, is the Gettysburg Address, in which Lincoln so elegantly linked the ideals of the Civil War with those of the American Revolution and promised an inclusive new birth of freedom for the nation. On the north wall is the full text of Lincoln's second inaugural address, March 4th, 1865. The address is a statement about the role of slavery in the coming of the war, and a sermon on the war as a divine judgment against the people of both sections for having so long maintained the institution. If the war was God's punishment of the whole American people, then it was not for the North to punish the South. Instead, with malice toward none, with charity for all, let us bind up the nation's wounds, and do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. On the west wall, the heart of the memorial, is Daniel Chester French's majestic marble statue of a seated, brooding Lincoln, gazing the length of the reflecting pool, past the Washington Monument. To the capital of the nation, he had had the flexibility, firmness, patience, tolerance, and vision to hold together. It is almost as if sitting there like the conscience of the nation, he's reminding us of the price paid for our existence and challenging us to make good on the historic American promises of democracy, freedom, and internal unity. Above the statue, these words are inscribed: "In this temple, as in the hearts of the people for whom he saved the Union, the memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever."